Ladies and gentlemen, big hairy news.
Hey, good, fun. Welcome back to Big Hero News Friday edition, Bright Hero News with myself and Magenta. How are you?
Not too bad, actually. Honestly, it feels like it's been a really long week.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same for you, but it just feels like it's been a really long week. Somehow I feel like it's been 2 weeks since the last show.
Is that because of anything personally, or is it just because of the news week? Is it just
Probably
the
mostly the
days?
news week. It's just
Yeah.
it keeps going and keeps getting worse. But no, it's been good. Obviously, I had the BHN meetup last weekend. So
Yes, how did that
that
go?
was awesome. It was great, actually. We had a really good turnout. I think it was quite possibly the most people that have come so far. I actually got a little. Look at us! Look at us! Look at us hanging out.
Yeah.
And look, you can see Gary. See Gary over there. So yeah, that's not all of us. I think, unfortunately, David and their wife had already left at that point because they had like a whole cute date night planned. But no, it was really
Cool.
awesome. Got to hang out with a bunch of BHNers and we yarned about a bunch of shit. We went till
Nice.
midnight,
Wow. They
right?
let you stay that long. Wow, you must have been well behaved.
Oh well, we went to a different place. Like we technically started in one bar and then ended up at the Midnight Coffee in town. So no, it was really cool.
Midnight coffee. That's cool. I assume that just means that they're open late.
Yeah, like
Like
they
a
close at
cafe, it's
midnight.
open late.
Yeah,
Nice. Cool.
yeah. And sadly, we couldn't have Gold there with us, but you can catch up with us on the next one because there was definitely some great corridor about actually planning some community-based stuff for the election coming up, and yeah, a bunch of cool shit that we can do at the community level. So that's gonna be really cool.
No. Very
How
cool.
about you? How's your week been?
My week has been a week. Nothing exciting to report. Did some streaming on Wednesday. That was nice.
Oh,
Got back into
nice.
games.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, it's just been very, very chill. We got Ghost of Yotei today, so I'm looking forward to playing that.
Nice.
Which I am going to put off for as long as possible because I have some things to catch up on. So I'm going to get to those
Yes.
first. Yes.
Got to do
And
your.
I'm playing a lot of games lately. So
Hell yeah.
need to,
Nah, that's
need to
awesome.
stretch it. So no, other than that,
Absolutely.
pretty good. Pretty good.
Also, yeah, it seems like YouTube's got some stuff going on. People's chats might be being weird. That's not us, that's YouTube. To be fair, I can't actually get our chat open on my YouTube for some reason, so I'm just going to be on StreamYard for that, but that's fine. So, yeah, if anyone's having issues, it's YouTube. Blame them.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm just gonna jump on the stream on my chat. I wanna know what you're talking about.
The button looks different. The sound button looks different, which means they've changed stuff.
What do you mean the sound button looks different?
Like that when you mute and kind of change the volume, like the actual like graphic of it, it's like all circular now. It's a different shape. Different shapes.
I haven't had the update. What do you mean?
I'll have to send you a screenshot. Or maybe that's why. Maybe it's because you're premium. Maybe you
Usually
get just
they
a
give
better
us all the new
functioning
stuff
version.
first.
I don't know. But
Like I
yeah.
missed out on something.
Hopefully it doesn't make the chat have too much of a hard time. Oh, apparently it works on full screen. Yeah.
As in, like,
Try it on full screen if yours isn't working, apparently.
Do you mean the chat?
Yes. Oh my god, it does.
What do you
That's
mean?
horrible. That's fucking horrible.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, no,
I
I can
can't
get
see
the
any
chat
of
if I
this.
go full screen. Yeah, because you have to full screen the whole bloody YouTube video.
I'm gonna check on
That's gonna
the
be some
BHN account.
mobile to fucking web page bullshit, I bet you. That's what my money's on. Because whenever they fuck stuff up, it's usually because whatever they want to do on the mobile phones. Anyway, that's a random side tech rant that I wasn't anticipating.
Well, I don't know what you guys are on about, but clearly something's going on, so our apologies on behalf of YouTube that we have no control over. Good
Yeah.
point. Just when the price of premium goes up by a whole $10 and there's stupid
Whew.
email that was like, oh, times are tough. We're so sorry we have to do this, but we've got to add an extra $10 to the family plan. So, but we really tried it. It's just like, fuck off. Fucking Google. You can afford to keep the prices low. You're just being an asshole. So,
greedy buggers.
yes, corporate overlords. Am I right?
Right.
Before we get into anything overly exciting, we should probably say a thank you to our patrons. Our patrons
Absolutely.
on Patreon. Or we could not. We could. I didn't put the right page up. There we go. Thank you to all the people that support us on Patreon. If you want to become a member, go to patreon.com/bighairynews and become a member. You can join us for some interviews before they go live on the show, exclusive behind the scenes type things, usually merchandise, and other secret stuff and updates and things. We also have a monthly meetup on Saturdays, but I don't know when the last one was or is going to be.
I think Pat said it's probably going to be next weekend because he probably can't do it this weekend. But yeah, that's what he said yesterday, day before, one or two.
Yes. And if you want to find all the links to all the things, you can go to bhn.nz where you will find our latest videos, the latest merchandise, which you can also purchase the merchandise through the website now, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very, very
Getting
cool.
fancy.
And you get links to the other podcasts under the network, Locked Out with Craig Rennie, Frontline with Gary Payenda. Apparently, Craig Rennie's podcast is popping.
Oh, yeah.
I did look in the back end, and the views are insane. So, well done.
Craig's great in the back end, you say. Good to know. Good to know. Oh, come on. Go on.
You ruined my evening.
Come on.
How do you? And actually, I should mention this as well because a lot of people ask. If you want the link to the Discord, it's on the website as well. Super easy.
Best place to find it.
Yeah, access that there. Yeah. So tonight's show we've got an update on the Flotilla. Actually, I just watched the live feed. So I'll give you a quick update on that.
Nice.
And the protesters outside of Winston's home saying, good old Winston being like, get off my front lawn. And Judith Collins wants to be wants to join the arms race and make New Zealand a bigger weapons manufacturer than we currently are, which is interesting. And the other thing I would like to talk about tonight is, and I think you'll enjoy this, Magenta, is the One Piece. I don't know what the technical. I don't watch One Piece. I know the general gist of it. The flag from One Piece being used by all of the Gen Z protesters.
Yes.
Protesters? Yeah, protesters around the globe. And just have a look at some of the unrest that's been happening, especially in the last month, and just give a quick debrief on what's been happening in that space, because there's a lot of things happening. And then, Magenta, you've got some things you want to talk about as well.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to get around to that. It's definitely a lot going on.
Yes. Well, do you want to start us off with some memes?
Yeah, yes, we'll
TLDR
do
for the week.
our. Honestly, the week ones, there wasn't a lot to cover all of the week, so I've kind of definitely added a couple. But this one was made by Kiwi Burb after Aotearoa tonight. Oh, magic conch shell, will New Zealand recognise Palestine? Maybe someday. Unfortunately, and obviously because we just got to roast Winnie as much as we can right now. I loved this one. Just stand there. Don't just stand there. Do something. Like, please. And then I love this edit Kai Matata did of the actual Luxon head on here. Very, very nice.
Oh, perfect.
Right? And here's where I'd put
Very
my
good.
spine if I had one. And obviously, we've seen the world's most powerful man baby. This one's pretty spicy. The generals are calling them fat man and little boy because of how badly they bombed. Oh, and this was just a picture that I just how did that get in there? If you don't know who this is Mussolini.
Oh,
Don't know how
thank
that
you
got
for.
in there.
Oh,
That must have just
interesting.
slipped in there.
These things happen. Mistakes happen, guys. Mistakes
Yes, sometimes you just see two people that look real similar.
happen. Right. Well, before we get into get off my front lawn, Winston, I was having a look at the Flotilla live feed.
Oh yes.
There was one that was behind the rest of them. So pretty much all the 40 boats were detained by Israeli forces. And this is the last boat that was sailing along and doing its best. And then they, about half an hour, 40 minutes ago, there was on the live stream, they said, "We see a ship. We're about to be intercepted." And this is them all going to the front of the boat. And in about 10 minutes, you can see the ship there circling them.
Yes.
Then they eventually send, there you go, circles again. They eventually send a boat full of soldiers. Remember, there was like 5 people on this boat. There's 10 or so soldiers on this incoming boat. Sadly, still sailing strong is no longer relevant. But yes, so the final ship in that first lot of 40 odd boats is in the last hour been detained, and you see the feed pretty much cuts out, and that's the last of it.
Wow. Fuck the idea. All right.
So, but supposedly there is another ship that was no, that's also had an update. They've also been intercepted, I think, based on them all wearing their life jackets. These guys were sort of sitting pretty not too long ago without their jackets. And I believe this isn't this boat. This is another boat, I believe. And then this is another boat again. It was carrying medical aid. And it looks like in the last 20-30 minutes, they have also chucked their life jackets on and are about to be detained as well. So, yeah.
Detained, kidnapped, you know.
I don't know where this is coming from. I don't know what. I don't know what. Oh, Malaysia. There you go. It's coverage from Malaysia there. So, yeah. So it looks like the last of the ships have been intercepted. And no more flotilla, I guess. Yeah.
Well, fuck. I mean, no one's surprised. They said they were going to do a war crime, and they did it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand how we're sitting here just letting Israel say they're going to do this stuff, and then just let them do it.
Mm-hmm. Kai Matata says, fun fact, Marianne was a Palestinian that Ngā Tamatoa met in Cuba, inspired them to organise their 1981 Springbok Tour protest. The Marianne was also the name of the flotilla with Māori TV members that Israel intercepted in 2015. To not support the flotillas is to be kupapa.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Some great information in that one, Ehua. Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you. Always appreciate you guys filling in the gaps. This is not my forte, but I do obviously want to point out things when they come across my feed, in case you weren't aware of them. But should we have a listen to Old Man Winston shakes fist at protesters on the front line?
Go on. Let's watch the little cry bitch baby.
Cry bitch baby. All of the things. Yeah. So Winston's back in the country. He was down in Dunedin opening up the rail link or something like that. He's doing train stuff. He loves his trains. Probably one of the only good things he's doing at the moment, and that's pretty skimming off the absolute top there. But protesters met him there in Dunedin, and also on his lawn last night. There were a few protesters protesting his decision, the government's decision, with him speaking on New Zealand's behalf, to not recognise Palestine at the UN Congress event thing.
Yeah.
Right. So let's get a little update. What's going on?
Winston Peters faced loud protesters and booing at his first public event since the announcement New Zealand wouldn't recognise a Palestinian state. As political editor Mikey Sherman reports, he gave as good as he got.
Save the people! Stop the bombing!
Lining the streets of Dunedin, a call to action.
Free Gaza!
With a strong police presence, protesters awaited the arrival of the Foreign Affairs Minister, condemning the government's decision not to recognise Palestine.
I was, to say the least, outraged by what Winston Peters had to say at the UN.
Arriving with police escort as Winston Peters stepped out of his vehicle, he was greeted with a deafening boo. Here for a rail announcement, Peters addressed those who were invited and those who weren't.
On a chance to join you for a dunner stunner and knock you over the fence with dumber and dumber bludgeoning over there when you are working over here.
Yes, Peters calling the protesters bludgers.
These are the kind of people, they wouldn't know anybody in the Middle East, wouldn't know any of the Arab nations, wouldn't know the Palestinian Authority, but here they are, blogging against the taxpayers again today.
We actually would rather not have...
That is so... That is so fucking, like... You don't have to know someone in the place that's being affected in order to protest against another nation's actions. That is such a fucking old man thing. And there will be people, such as this person who's speaking now, I assume, who does know people in the Middle East, but it doesn't matter. Like, that is a non-point.
No, yeah, it's such a dumb one, but it's also so typical of this kind of rhetoric. So, like, the same way they try to be like, oh, why do queers want to, protest for Gaza? They might, like, over there, it's illegal to be... Does it matter? I just don't want kids to be killed. Like, fuck. Crazy take.
Carry on.
Again today.
We actually would rather not have gone out to put shamas and raised or raised our voices or chanted, but in a context of genocide, that's the least we would be doing.
The father of an 18-year-old New Zealander detained by Israeli forces off the coast of Gaza yesterday says he hasn't been able to speak with his son since.
I think they were all advised to drop their phones once they were boarded.
Samuel Leeson, as well as fellow Kiwis Rana Hamida and Youssef Samor, were among more than 400 activists detained from a flotilla of vessels that had been attempting to deliver aid to Gaza in spite of Israel's naval blockade.
The government needs to at least ensure the safety of our Kiwis who have been abducted.
They're not being abducted, they're not being kidnapped. They'll be put on a plane and sent home. And the question you've got to ask yourself is, what was the cost of all that?
I hope like hell he doesn't eat those words. I would like to see those people returned, but it's not going to look great on him if they don't, and that is going to age like milk. And the only thing I can think of is
like he's lying though. He could only be lying.
I feel like his little UN stunt, where it was very, his pro-Israel stance, is possibly going to bite him in the butt. I don't think there's gonna. If they don't want to return our people, they won't return our people. It doesn't matter if we didn't recognize Palestine or not. I don't think if they don't, they don't.
Well, they're showing everyone they'll do what they want.
Yeah. I would expect them to return our people. I really hope that they return our people, but yeah. Let's see if he eats his words.
As for Winston Peters today,
thank you for joining us on this occasion. Don't tell me he's a graduate from Otago University.
no sign of either side abandoning their positions, with not a white flag in sight. Mikey Sherman, One News.
Yeah, so interesting stuff. Not surprised people were there protesting. I didn't even think about looking for Chewie, to be honest. I'm gonna have to scrub through and see if we can find him.
Oh, I don't know if he would have made it in time. I mean, it's only just got back.
No, he got back a few nights. A few nights ago. Oh, I'm sure Chewie would not miss an opportunity to be protesting.
Very true.
Yeah. So, any thoughts on the Flotilla update or Winnie's whining? I
just don't understand how he can be like, oh, you know, it's just good. Just they're not abducting them. They're not doing this. No, they are. Like, does he not understand? How does our foreign minister not understand international law? They announced they were going to do a war crime, and then as soon as the flotilla got into international waters, they committed a fucking war crime and are pirates. Like, his flippin' kind of disregard to kind of just be like, oh, it's nothing. You're just complaining over nothing. Like, no, you're supposed to understand how this works, bro. Like, international affairs is supposed to be your area. It feels like we're being gaslit and then represented by that gaslighter for far too much money. Also, have I lost it? Oh, no. I'm back. Sorry, for a second, I was like, did I lose you? But yeah,
I was still connected to Wi-Fi. I could see myself buffering, so I was like, "Oh, sorry, she's blowing. Sorry, they're blowing a foo. I'm gonna quickly."
Yeah, just quickly. I also I wanted to highlight this comment that for people who don't know, Marama Davidson was actually detained by the IOF, so that's another reason why it was really awesome that she was able to come and talk to Pat, obviously, on Saturday. But yeah, it's also just like, well, I saw actually one comment, I think it was in the Discord, where someone pointed out that it's ironic that Winston is all of a sudden going, oh, I'm getting harassed by all these protesters. Yet, what did Benjamin just end up leaving Parliament because of? Literal bullying that he himself put against fucking Benjamin. Like, and now he wants us to have sympathy for him not getting a good night's sleep. I hope he doesn't sleep easy. I hope he has an uncomfortable time, because nothing could compare to what literal children are experiencing. Like, I couldn't care less about whether he thinks that people are overreacting or that, you know, it's going to be fine. This isn't an overreaction. We're watching in real time as war crimes are happening in front of our eyes, and there are no mechanisms that we, as the tax-paying people, have to actually really intercept any of this at the moment. So yeah, of course people are going to take any means possible to kind of take whatever control that is. If that's protesting Winston and consistently harassing him, consistently getting people to, ring up the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it's all people just trying to do what they can, because it's difficult to watch a genocide. God knows what it feels like to live inside of that genocide. So the least that we can do is protest, is to tell him that he's fucking wrong, because he has embarrassed the shit out of us this week. We've gone from being world leaders with one of the most strong, compassionate leaders in the world, Jacinda, of course, to this bullshit. Like, it's an embarrassment. And I also just want him to do his fucking job right. Like, he should be the one going against this, calling out all of this. Instead, because we're clearly, for some fucking reason, aligning ourselves with America and, like, Israel. Like, we're now on the bad side. And we're paying them to do this. We pay them money to do this to us. So, yeah, I hope that he can't sleep tonight. And I hope he doesn't have another restful night of sleep until all of this is over. And even then, fuck him. That's my thought. I saw people were missing some foo-foos earlier, so, like, there you go, Whānau. Hopefully that'll tide us over till we get our Chewie back on Monday.
Oh, man, that's going to be interesting.
Why? It's going to be just wind him up and watch him go where he stops. Yeah. I don't care. It's going to be great.
Whole 3 weeks of pent up. He's either had a great holiday or pent up, frustration. But
it looks like he's had a pretty good time from everything that he's been posting. At least he got to be a part of some of the protests, so sounds like he was having a very good time.
Wonderful. All right, well, shall we get some super chats going?
Yes.
Citizen says 442 days at most.
At most. But fingers crossed, not that long.
We get to vote the government out. Kiwi Burb says, I hope Judith brings back the Bob Semple tank. Sorry, I do not know.
I'll look it up.
Thank you. Don't judge us. Well, Hiki 12, $5 is Winitana? Is wheat I don't know what would you call it? Sound? Like W-I in Māori?
Yeah.
Is that
We.
Oh, that is. We.
Because our eyes are E.
No, I just don't often see W-I, I think. But now I think about it,
Iwi.
French was wee.
Yes, it was.
Winitana kaore au poro e ki.
Yeah, I'd have to translate that one. I can't do that one off the top of my head. But I need to go back to my somebody else classes, honestly.
Yeah. That's right, we all do. We've got a bit of work to do. Rightio. Just to update you on Flotilla, just because we can, because I've got it here. They've taken off the jackets, and I assume they weren't being intercepted after all. And they're just continuing on, which is good on them.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, so I don't 100% know what's going on, but yeah.
Also, Google was right. Yeah, I was trying to. My brain can do it on the fly.
Love it.
Cheers for that one. All right.
I love it.
Do we want to go into some memes?
Yeah, so we got a quick
meme break it up. I think this one must have got posted because also there was a bit of a acronym memery happening earlier in the week. But yeah, is your child an Antifa super soldier? LOL, looting, only looting. LMAO, Lenin, Mao, all okay. OMG, our mortar group. WTF, war, that's fun. BRB, burning religious books. IMHO, probably something in Arabic. I didn't read this properly. TBH, terrorism, boy howdy. IDK, I do kneel. RN, riot night. AF, attack flag. BLM, meaning still unclear. Stay vigilant, stay safe. This was just something that someone scrawled on something here in Wellington, and I really feel this. Fucking Stephen Miller. The Clitoris Isn't Real, a film by Stephen Miller. Also, look at the background where it says Blockbuster, but actually look at it. Yeah.
Cockbuster.
We are Charlie Kirk. What did he say? I don't know. Something about swallowing Nazi cock. Oh, I found this. I fucking found this. This is insane. Someone's, yeah, like, I hate it. I hate it. But then also, I saw we had some superhero chats, because then we just got a great picture of Captain America just punching a Nazi. The top 10% now hold 67.4% of all the wealth in the US. The bottom 50% hold 2.5%. All problems are this problem. All other discourse is a distraction from this, which is why we will eat the rich. I want you to stop attacking pedophiles. No, Ted Cruz, fuck you. Single-handedly saving taxpayers' time and money. Chris Pink, Chris Bishop. If you one-up conspiracy theorists, they don't know what to do. The moon landing was fake. Oh, you're one of those guys that believes in the moon. Just gaslight them. Also, found the problem with that escalator. All these Epstein files. And then we'll finish on this one because obviously the care comments from last week. So we've got car disassembly, which we do know that cares do love to disassemble cars, and it's kind of adorable. And yeah, save those for later.
Someone has, a few people have thankfully educated me on this. EM's a tractor covered with corrugated iron, built in about 1942 when NZ couldn't get real tanks. And Japan looked likely to invade. Man,
I literally had opened. That's great.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
it also says the Bob Simple tank was an ad hoc tank made in 1941. Oh, have we got competing? 42, 41. When supplies were thin and we were worried about invasion from Japan, Bob Simple was Minister of Railroads. Okay,
fuck yeah.
Interesting.
He would have made some really cool bongs, I bet you. Whoa, with that kind of creativity, I'm sure he could make you a mean bong. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you said bomb, and I was like...
No, bonga. Bonga.
Bonga. Bonga.
Bong There we go. There we go.
Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. Love it. Love it. Speaking of tanks that we couldn't afford, let's see, everyone else heard bomb.
Yeah.
Judith Collins today announced more defense spending, in particular a partnership with some private manufacturers who are making fancy military tech, such as basically drones. So this is my foo-foo for the night. I have quite a lot to say about this.
Let's go.
And you can let me know what your thoughts are. But we'll have this is like a 2-minute 20 clip. We can have a listen to what Judith is so excited about. And yeah. If I can get this to work. There we go. Private military contractors. Yeah, well, you're gonna hate this story then. All right, Judith, tell us what's your big plan is.
Kiwi companies have been backed to deliver more cutting-edge military gear, including high-tech drones, weapons and defence systems. That's where the government's putting its budget, aiming to speed up our defence capability as global tensions grow. Ed O'Driscoll explains.
Like a kid at Christmas.
Great fun.
Oh,
Judith Collins checking out these Kiwi-made land and sea drones. Developed in just a year, it's this level of innovation and speed she wants to see more of.
It's a very exciting time to be in defence, but we've got a lot more that we've got to do, and certainly rebuilding the capability is important.
On the tails of a 4-year, $12 billion defence spending plan, the capability strategy launched today aims to see a chunk of that money spent here. Overseas firms bidding for New Zealand defence contracts will need to set out plans on how they'll work with local companies. And a $300 million fund will see the Defence Force collaborate with small businesses to develop advanced military tech that can be sold to allies. What sort of new technology are you hoping to see developed as part of this accelerator fund?
Well, I don't even know how far we can go, because whenever I think, oh, well, this is where we could get to, they go and exceed all my expectations.
She's referring to companies like Tauranga-based Sios Aerospace, which has signed a huge deal with the UK to supply drones to Ukraine. It started out building unmanned helicopters for agricultural spraying.
We've been able to rapidly develop.
I find that hilarious. They build stuff for agriculture, then they're like, oh, hey, you know what this would be great for and what would make us a fuck ton of money? If we turn this into military tech and war tech instead of agriculture tech.
mm-hmm.
Well done, guys. Well done.
Technology because of the mines within New Zealand. What's been announced today is that collaborative piece where a lot of those tech companies, a lot of those graduates from universities can actually understand that they can take their idea and apply it into defences.
They can take their ideas from university and make military tech. Oh, yay.
I fucking hate this timeline.
Oh,
Fuck this shit.
It's worse than you think.
The ongoing investment comes at a challenging time globally. Russia's war in Ukraine, tensions in the Middle East, and growing competition in the Indo-Pacific have all been cited as risks. The minister warning we need to be ready against
Anyone who attacks us, and you never know who that might be.
And now it's hoped more Kiwi ingenuity will be part of the plan. Ed O'Driscoll, One News.
So, okay, I have a lot to say about this. Number one, Judith, who the fuck is going to invade us and attack us?
Mm-hmm. What are you planning
we're
for
like
there?
Friendly. Everyone loves us. We're friendly with anyone. And then I thought about it a little bit more and I'm like, oh, actually, I know what this is about. I could be completely wrong. This is my theory. Who's going to attack us? China. And I say that because you've just seen China's Xi Jinping next to Kim Jong-un and Putin. A lot of people are speculating and have always said that China wants Taiwan. And with the US breaking down as the superpower of the world, and a friend of Taiwan, there is a possibility that China will take the opportunity. There's also the growing influence of China in the Pacific, which is technically our region to keep safe. So in that regards, yes, we do probably need to up our military spending. But because China is an economic partner, the key economic partner for New Zealand, they will not outwardly name China because that would put a target on their backs. But we all know that that's the reason why. Not that they'll ever name China. So no one's going to invade us, but they may, increase their presence in which we have to be part of it. The other thing too is I personally do not have any issues with private companies doing this tech in New Zealand. They are private companies. They can do whatever the hell they want. If this is the direction they want to go, that's fine by me. Where it's becoming an issue is that the government's now backing them. The government is incentivizing them, and they are allowing them to continue to go into this space. So we are no longer, it's no longer private, it's now public and private. It's the public-private partnership. So I don't think we can say that we've always had this, our military's always been the peacekeeping force. We've never really, we're friends of Ukraine. We have not sent soldiers to Ukraine. We've sent our soldiers to the UK to train the Ukrainians, but we haven't actively entered that space. I don't know specifically the situation in the Middle East, but we didn't send forces over there. We sent peacekeeping troops into the Middle East. We have peacekeeping troops in, I can never remember what the name of it. Brunei, in that space as well. Yeah, and we have great relationships with a lot of our allies, our friends, especially the Yankees, and we do a lot of training with them. But I see this as we've crossed the line now into providing. We are now part of the arms. It's not quite the arms race, but we're now part of arming militaries. And I know that she said that this is about enabling. This is about growing the sector so that we could possibly export to our allies. But I don't particularly like that. I have no issue with our previous position, which was if our friends and our allies are in need, we will send what we can when it's needed. This is preemptive. This is us saying, yeah, we'll build the tech. And if you want it, not need it, then yeah, we'll sell it to you. So we are actively fueling war in this case. Yeah. And I that's where I draw the line. Private companies do what they want, but as soon as you've involved our government in this, we're no longer partisan. Or no, bipartisan. We're no longer a peacekeeping force. We are
not being
actively taking part. Yeah.
I mean, when you couple it with the fact that they won't recognize Palestine, the Christopher Luxon keeps going on about how we've got friends on both sides. What? Are we going to sell it to Israel? Because are we considering them friends? So what? We're potentially going to be selling weapons to Israel to use against Gaza? Also, honestly, I don't see an alliance with America and Israel. I don't know. I don't think we're on the right side. And also, Peter Symes has his BA in history, and it feels an awful a lot to the lead up to World War I. And I agree. I am hating how many parallels we're seeing day in, day out. Every day that goes on, something new gets announced that's oh, if I wasn't sure fascism was coming and already kind of here, this is definitely making it feel more like it. And just also the weird, because we have taken on this weird mini America, it's almost like we're the little sibling to America and trying to just dress up as them, and the focus on, putting more spending into defense, and just the weird, almost horny way she gets excited when it comes to all this war stuff is just does not give me any indicators that they're actually going to act in this stuff in our best interests either. I also agree with this point that Gary brought up. Being friends with America is probably going to make us more of a target than anything else. I don't think that our aligning with America is good at all. And I think that we could see, peacekeeping in Gaza if we're so-called aligning ourselves with friends that we apparently have. And I think it's also hard because as a Māori, I have way more in common with China this far. I mean, both bad. It's a bad and just as bad, but different flavors. But actually, I kind of prefer the idea of one flavor at least. It's It's
Yeah,
all
I'd be
bad news.
very interested to see where this goes because I don't think it's bigger than perhaps we might be. As I always think when I say that sort of thing, I'm like, oh, I'm fear-mongering, blah, blah, blah. But this for me feels very, I mean, someone pointed it out, this feels very much against our anti-nuclear stuff.
That too. Which
until
we know
very
Shane
recently-
Jones is going to try to fucking petition for.
And like up until very recently, we have again said no to nuclear subs in our waters. So, and we haven't joined AUKUS because of that reasoning. But this kind of feels antithetical to that a little bit. I feel like we're moving in a completely different direction. And some people may not see it as that, with like, oh hey, cool, another industry that we're part of, and it's like, no, we're now actively part of the like we're part of the race to whoever is our allies at the time. For all we know, we could be giving it to the US today, and in a year's time, 2 years' time, 10 years' time, they are no longer our friends. And look, we're just giving them all this tech. And the example that she gave was Ukraine, but that Ukraine's not the end of it. Like, it's a beginning. It's opening the door, basically. Because what are you going to do after you've enabled exports of these weapons? Like, it'll be what, the highest bidder? And then once the private sector's gone, okay, well, we've taken the public's money and we've built out this thing. We no longer need to be aligned with the government. We're just going to export to whoever's going to give us money because we're in the private market. Where's the restrictions on that?
Well, yeah, especially with the way this government clearly seems to want to go towards maximizing profits and fucking feeding into this weird capitalist game where we're sitting here going, oh, well, we need defense and we need all these war armaments. Why? Who's telling us we need them? What, because people keep killing each other? Maybe if we focused on spending our money on making sure people were fed, clothed, and housed, there wouldn't be as much of this. War, they need us to believe that there is no other option, because guess what makes the most money in the world? It's the sale of armaments. Like, it's just holding up this precarious capital fucking patriarchal, all the fucking ists and isms system that's just teetering on these really weak frameworks that needs to fucking topple at this point.
Yeah. But this is exactly what I think of. There's all this money for weapons, but none for healthcare.
Exactly. There's literally trillions and trillions of dollars put into all of this.
Someone I assume is a crunchy is making the point that we need to arm ourselves, and yeah, we do need good defense here in New Zealand, but we don't there are enough. We are well liked. We're currently very well liked by a good majority of people of countries around the globe who have our back if there was any need to go, any need to help us out. But China, for example, would be shooting itself in the foot a little bit, because we have a great luxury market specifically. Chinese love their honey.
And chocolate.
We are the land of milk and honey, and actually we're a bit of a quite literally the land of milk and honey. We're a bit of a special nation in which a lot of our exports are agricultural, and our economy basically thrives on agriculture. And if there was I think someone pointed this out recently, if there was a global war and everyone started nuking each other, we would be a bit of a safe haven. So if anyone attacks us and went after our land, there would be no global food production. So I can't see anyone coming directly after us. And if they do, we got some good friends. Let them build the arms, and let us sit in a much better position where we are neutral, if not on the right side of history. And not playing into the war games. That is my opinion. Sorry for being a hippie who's anti-war.
No, I'm not. I mean, literally, even top it off. Make bongs, not bombs, bruh. Fucking. Yeah. It's disgusting. And I don't like the type of New Zealand that this government is trying to turn us into. Like, it's stinky and I don't like it.
Well, shall we cleanse it with some
memes?
Actually, no. I see. I'm
No?
gonna do them. I'm gonna do the super chats first because then we can
Yes.
cleanse it with some memes.
Good idea.
Kai Matata, $5 says, need I remind anyone that Collins named Nazi Erwin Rommel is her personal hero? Ooh. The same person her own father fought in World War II. My
Fuck,
goodness,
she
man.
would though. Good old Talo.
Mr. Arvids for $5 says, Judith said on the stuff video, you never know when friends can turn on you. She's towing the line with China. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the US, to be fair. But the US is kind of just turning against everyone at the moment. Just
Yeah.
rolling.
But also, Luxon,
their weight
just,
around.
I don't know. Our government seemed to definitely toe suck a little, as you so pertinently put it.
It's true. Now you think about it, Luxon did spend a lot of time in the US.
Yeah, like he spent a lot of his career there. I think his children were born, kind of raised.
Yeah, they still have their
there
American
as well.
accents.
Yeah.
So,
Like
Not
we
very
also know
from the
that
place.
exactly. But yeah, I guess we'll go for some memes. The left, let's make buses fast and free. The right, let's kill the homeless people on the bus. The center, why are both sides so extreme? Libertarians, this $8 transit tax is tyranny. Pretty good summation. Then also, I'm nervous. What if we move too far left and working people get healthcare? We deal with the climate crisis, college is free, housing is affordable, and there are no more billionaires while kids go hungry? What will we do? Tetris is gay communist propaganda. We've got not straight pieces, which is this ratio is unrealistic forced diversity, DEI. Other facts you should know was invented in the Soviet Union in 1984, has a rainbow logo even when it isn't June, says it's for Game Boy but is also played by girls. Real quotes said by Tetris players, it's better to shove the straight ones off to the side. I'm hoping to get T next. Every hole has to be filled. First bricks fall, then our nation falls. You are not safe from the radical left agenda. So in just 7 days, he can grow you a man. This obviously we had Sunita on this week, so we've got a bit of Rocky Horror coming in. Also, friend of the show, Jordan Rivers, a reminder that National has always taken the side of apartheid because National will not be blackmailed into cancelling the Springbok tour. Same, it's just the same picture and different font. The good old Yeehaw boys. Genocide reveal burnout. New Zealand is going to be so proud. It's a blind eye. We're going to have blind eye to genocide. And I love the coward license plate number. Great little detail. Sometimes I just have to turn off the news and put on a serial killer documentary so I can relax. And it does feel like that sometimes. Good old Whakataki times. Luxon's PR team making an AI version of him that seems more human. And then I guess we'll leave those for after our next one.
I had a comment. Wait, what was the second last meme that made me think of something?
Was it the AI one? No.
No, it was the one before that.
Oh, the monkey watching murder?
Yes. The reason that people turn towards things like documentaries, serial killer documentaries, is a little bit along the same lines as why people really like watching horror movies during bad times, is because because of the cathartic release from it. And also with I guess serial killer documentaries are also kind of along the same lines of like a bit of a thriller, but it's somewhat a reminder of like you're in a safe space. It's a weird one, but it very typically when things are tough and not great. Serial
Offers
killer
perspective.
documentaries, and horrors all go up, which seems really strange, but.
Nah, it makes perfect sense to me. I mean, sometimes it just matches the vibe. Also, I mean, people give shit about how, oh man, women, they just love true crime. Yeah, because guess what? When you are statistically likely to be the victim of a crime, actually learning how criminals act is actually a form of safety. So just bear in mind, if you've ever thought that about women, check your privilege. So, there's another fun fact. All right, where are we going to next?
Great question. Where are we going? Yeah, I'm going to check on the flotilla. Flotilla's still going great. Well, it's not really a flotilla, it's just the one boat at the moment. So there's been a lot going around, going on globally. In the Gen Z protesting space, or just the general protesting government's space, in the last, just in 2025, there's been a lot of protests around the globe. But specifically, what I'd like to have a quick chat about is the flag that Gen Z protesters have adopted.
Hell yeah!
The One Piece manga flag. The skull and it has a name. It's the name of the ship that they ride on. Someone can fill in the gaps. I don't watch One Piece.
Raijin, help.
Unless it's in here somewhere. So for those of you who don't know what One Piece is, it's an anime. But this should hopefully give you a bit of a background as to why they've been flying this flag around the place. In Indonesia, it was hung outside homes, on motorbikes, cars, and trucks. It is in a sign of discontent with the government that boiled over into deadly protests, rallying against lavish perks enjoyed by politicians. In Nepal, it was draped on the golden gates of the palace that houses parliament, as young people toppled their government. In the Philippines, it was raised at rallies by protesters furious at alleged government corruption. The flag showing a cartoon skull wearing a hat, taken from the hugely popular Japanese anime One Piece, has become a symbol of defiance and hope for Gen Z protesters across Asia. Not just Asia, but a lot of places. In the 1997 anime, it is carried by a band of straw hats.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Someone's got straw hat flag.
Thank you. I thought it was.
As soon as I saw that, it sounded familiar.
Yeah, it's just the straw hats. The 1997 anime, it is carried by a band of straw hat pirates that stand up to corruption and repressive rulers. Its meaning has resonated across borders. Even though we have different languages and cultures, we speak the same language of oppression, said Gero Vincent Liberato, if that's your name. It's great. A 23-year-old, a recent graduate who helped organize the protests in the Philippines capital Manila. We see the flag as a symbol of liberation against oppression, that we should always fight for the future we deserve. So yeah, you can see it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I've seen quite a few protest pictures where every time I'm just like, nice. Honestly, it's great. I love it.
Yes. And specifically the protests of late, which I think are really cool. I think Gen Z are doing some incredible stuff.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Around the world at the moment to push back against a lot of oppressive governments. The skull and crossbones has also become a symbol of Gen Z protests in Asia, like the ones that toppled Nepal's government last month. Fanillo says Madagascans watched what happened in Nepal, where many were angered by videos of the children of politicians living in luxury, or Nepo kids. We are going through the same things, and it gave us the courage to rise up and demonstrate, he says. We are demanding the complete overhaul of our entire system. As young people, we represent the future of our nation. Aside from Nepal, elsewhere in Asia, there have been youth-led protests in the Philippines over corruption, and in Indonesia over politicians' perks. Europe isn't immune either, with young people in Serbia taking to the streets and massive demonstrations this year over a deadly railway station collapse and perceived government corruption. Madagascar is not an isolated example in Africa either. Across the Indian Ocean and Kenya, on Africa's east coast, massive Gen Z protests have been taking place since last year when thousands of people took to the streets protesting an unpopular finance bill. At the height of the protests, the demonstrators stormed and partially burnt the parliament in Nairobi, and dozens of protesters were killed. So that gives you... there's also been protests in West Africa. In Togo in June, thousands turned out to protest what they said was the president's attempt to change the constitution and stay in power indefinitely. In Morocco as well. So yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a really good piece on Time magazine, I assume. That just has I think this was released today. Yeah, it was released today. But you just have to read through why they're all protesting, and you can already hear it in what I've just read out to you, but the parallels between each and every one of these that we're seeing. So Morocco, where is it? Oh, it's right there. I literally highlighted it. Sorry, what is this? Morocco. The protests come as more than a third of young people in Morocco under the age of 25 are unemployed. According to the country's statistics agency, similar protests occur in Brazil over steep living costs and poor healthcare and education ahead of the country's hosting the 2014 World Cup tournament. Madagascar. Person did end up stepping down. The country's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has reduced the urban poverty is a key issue in Madagascar. Reported 75% of the country's residents affected by poverty as of 2022. That's a lot of people. Peru, which is most recent, I believe. The protest began on September 20th following the passage of a reform measure that will require young people to pay into a private pension fund. Taxi and bus drivers, meanwhile, say gangs are extorting them for money and that the government is not doing enough to intervene. Accusations of corruption, economic insecurity, and crime have also contributed to fierce government opposition and mass demonstrations. Nepal, which this one I think is the most exciting, in my opinion. After youth-led protests against corruption and a ban on major social media platforms toppled Nepal's government in early September, the leader of the demonstrations announced last week he will run in the country's March general election.
Nice.
Protests were ignited after a social media ban blocked 26 platforms for users in Nepal. In the following days, thousands of demonstrators took to the streets, and the Parliament building in Kathmandu was set on fire, along with the homes of high-ranking politicians.
Fuck yeah.
The protests were in part fueled by anger over Nepo kids, wealthy politicians' children who flaunt their lavish lifestyle on social media, highlighting disparities in wealth between the elite and the rest of the country. Roughly 20% of people in Nepal that were living below the national poverty line as of 2022. And then a key symbol of the protests of Nepal, along with all of those in other countries, is a manga flag depicting a skull and crossbones wearing a yellow hat. The symbol comes from the Japanese anime One Piece, in which pirate captain Monkey D. Luffy seeks to liberate the oppressed in fights against autocratic governments. And I believe the last one mentioned here is also the Philippines. The Philippine government estimated that as much as roughly 1.85 billion has been lost in the past 2 years to corrupt flood projects. Greenpeace, an environmental organization, has put the number higher.
Yeesh.
So because they have a ton of floods in the area. So
true, yeah.
Basically not able to, not increasing their defense and against climate change and floods. So. But yeah, you can hear the parallels between all of these are the same. Young people are disadvantaged. A good a good number of people, or a good number of the populations are in poor living conditions under the poverty line.
Yes.
And major corruption has run rampant, and authoritarian governments that just continue to stay in power. So I'm not, of course, I don't like political violence, but they are protesters. Not typically the protesters that make it violent. It's usually the police that make it violent, and a lot of them, unfortunately, have been killed throughout all of these different places. Many, unfortunately, killed by violent actions against their protests. And but I think the Nepal one's kind of weird to say it's my favorite. Like they literally overthrew the government. They set their parliament on fire. We're like, no, we're not fucking doing this anymore. And they literally burned down the system. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's great. They're a really good example of how sometimes it's great to do things the proper route and the better route, but sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes things have to break before they can be fixed again. So,
and they did it through Discord. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, again, great way to promo our Discord, guys. If you want to join, go to our website, bhn.nz. Links in the top right. But no, I think it's an awesome example. I do think that, I just think it's funny because it's like, what do you expect when for the last however long the amping up of, I guess, political, societal commentary in art, such as, anime or music or all these types of things, we've been listening for a while, and Gen Z now have the ability, like they've grown up with everything pretty much being wholly online. They've been able to see more and in a bigger picture for, I guess, more of their developmental kind of life. So it makes sense that we're seeing them be a lot more, active and being activists. But you can't really, fuck with, like, eventually everything's going to break. And that's what we've been going on, a system that's needed to break for a while. And we're seeing it happen around the world.
You make an interesting point, and it's something that I read when I was reading these that kind of brought up thought. A lot of these countries are, they're not exactly third world countries, but they're definitely not your typical, like OECD Western nations. It's not your UKs, your Australias, Irelands, France, Italy's. We're talking about Madagascar, Nepal, Peru, Morocco, the Philippines, Indonesia. I wouldn't know where to put all of these guys, but I definitely wouldn't say that they're the same as the US and Australia in terms of their the rigidity of their democracies, the ability to have fair and free speech. The US is kind of breaking that at the moment. But you're right that the younger generations are using the technology that they have, the social media, the connections that they have to organize, but also cut through the bullshit. One of the ones I was reading was like, the propaganda doesn't work anymore because they can see it for themselves. I mean, we literally had it before. We were live streaming the Flotilla, right? You can see it there. You can't hide the truth. It's like, you literally
the only thing they can do is try to kill the people who are sharing the truth, like we see with the journalists in Gaza, because they're losing control.
But the really interesting thing, I think, is that we're seeing this in these countries where Gen Z are rising up and they're overthrowing their oppressive governments or corrupt governments. But we're seeing almost the exact opposite we're seeing it in New Zealand at the moment. And we're seeing it, well, pretty much in every single country. The protests that we're seeing are of the far right instead. And I was thinking that's really strange because we have the same issues, but certainly in smaller doses. It's not as rampant, but those same corruption, the same sort of things do exist in our democracies, but
I
on
mean,
a much smaller scale. But I
there's
don't know
one-
whether or not I
there's
don't
something I
understand
found in
the
what you said,
connection
though.
between them.
I think I figured it out because the main differences between the cultures that, like us that aren't versus say places like that is kind of an individualist versus collectivist nations. Because a lot of those that you mentioned, like in Nepal, like they live in a lot more collectivist type cultures where, again, it's kind of like, I guess you could also then argue we don't see the same necessarily out of like the majority of like New Zealand stuff, but we see it in say Toitū Te Tiriti and the Hikoi, where the people are actually having to take that more, the collectivist people are having to kind of champion and then be like, hey, this is not okay, this isn't right, and something has to change. So like that definitely seems like there is at least a line that kind of, but I think there's probably a number of different things too, because I mean, a lot of those are probably a lot smaller, obviously have their own unique context in terms of where they are positioned in the world, like how much inequality is also present. Like I think the more disparaging the inequality, the more extreme you would kind of expect to see things happen when they finally break, because I think there's definitely going to be a number of factors to that. But
I mean, this pretty much sums that up, right? They've got a lot to sorry, we have a lot to lose, they've got nothing left to lose. And I think I know sometimes it feels like we're fear-mongering a little bit. The US is a perfect example of, if you let it continue, then it allows for the craziness, the like dictatorship, the authoritarianism, is like the fascism in America. The system that they have created has allowed that to continue to happen. And I think we are so privileged here that we don't see those through lines, that it's very possible that we could end up in the same position and not get to it before it's too late. Which is why you need to continue to vote. It's why you need to continue to use the forms of democracy that we have and force a good democracy. Not allow for corruption in our governments, even though it might be like teensy little stuff. It'll escalate once people are like, oh, I mean, I didn't need to disclose my 26 properties that I owned. Oh well. What's the next thing going to happen? Oh, I didn't just clear the fact that I have $1 million in stocks in that company that I may have some influence in. Like and it's like, oh well. And then Luxon rolls over and he's like, oh well, it's NZ first. They're not my. It's like, no, you can't allow that to happen. You have to set the standard. You need to continue that standard. And I think what we are seeing now is we see those things and we want to stamp them out before that happens, or we will very quickly turn into the US. Or we're going to very likely see the same protests that have turned violent, unfortunately, across the world happening here. Not fear-mongering, just being realistic, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd argue it's not even we want to avoid going down the same road as the US. We have to acknowledge we are already on the path to, like, we can see our future. It is up to us now to try and do something about making that diverge off, because we cannot allow ourselves get to that point. I mean, literally think about what they're doing, ICE is doing. And we have seen in America that slow, gradual, just, we'll tolerate racism. We'll tolerate homophobia. We'll tolerate transphobia. We'll tolerate all these things to the point where we'll tolerate them literally kidnapping humans, whether they should be or not. Like we see people getting kidnapped in international waters. It's not an if. It's a what can we do to make sure that we do not allow this to continue.
Mm.
Absolutely. God, it's been a great night tonight, hasn't it? So positive.
Mm.
But at the same time, I mean, we do have to be realistic. It's not fear-mongering. It's like, nah, fuck, we got to keep an eye on shit, because shit's fucked.
Yeah. Just a reminder. Hell yeah.
Exactly.
I would like to see this symbol continue to be the symbol of Gen Z in their riot against oppressive governments. And you know what? It's a symbol that might end up flying around here sometime soon. So.
Also, I thought it might be of note to say that Gen Z approximately starts at 1997 and ends at 2012. So I think the oldest Gen Zs are approximately 28.
Yeah, it's 28 and under. But depending on when you looked at that, it's also sometimes it's sometimes it's 1995 and 96.
Oh yeah,
as well.
it's an approximate. Yeah. You also have to, like, people who sit in them. There's cusps and all that stuff. That's just the general, in case anyone's confused.
Yeah, my general line is probably whether or not they grew up without the internet.
Well, I mean, technically, millennial is supposed to be anyone that remembers the ushering in of the new millennia. But if you're born in 1997, you're 3, which means you probably haven't developed memories to be able to remember that. That's kind of where that name comes from. But also, like, yeah, it's just more of so people know the rough age we're talking.
Yeah, it's 28 and under is a good point. I usually ask the questions of, I usually say things about the 90s, and if the person responds with, what? I'm just like, oh shit, no, you're a Gen Zer. Sorry, you got kicked out of millennial camp.
Right.
Good enough.
All right, more memes?
Yeah, memes.
That's memes. So we got a new emoji this week, and it's an original drawing from Kiwi Burb. So feel free to go play with this, and Kiwi Burb gave us some good little memes with their awesome little thing. So yeah, go play with that on the Discord. I love this. National is totally fine with war criminals. Yeah, I mean, you heard it. We've got friends on both sides, apparently. Also, this is an if you know situation from the live chat this week. Right, anyone else want to say stupid things about Chippy? And if you don't know, I'm going to keep that one secret. Come join us in the chat more. Israel first, which I'm sure Winnie would love to see this picture. Yes, we got a great image of Pete Hegseth that someone posted into our Discord, and I wasn't gonna make a meme for it, but I'm gonna share with you guys what this meme makes me think of, and I don't know if you guys will have seen this video before. If you haven't, you're welcome. It's great. Hopefully this will.
Are you supposed to be playing something?
Oh, was it not coming through today?
No.
Awkward, guys.
We're sitting here in silence.
It's because I had to remove. It's because it doesn't let. I thought it changed over. That's cool. I just watched it by myself first, guys. Don't worry, it's fine.
Yeah, I was. I'll update you in a second what I was doing.
Hey.
Carry on.
What do you think about California? You like it?
Yeah.
Do you like it? You taking a shit?
That is the moment. That's it. That's all that moment needed. But that's what this picture made me think of. So I hope it was worth it for the bit.
That's so funny. Carry on.
Yeah.
Yeah, carry on.
I just kind of like this one too. Hipkins, National Act Sorry. And New Zealand first are my enemies, or Greens and TPM are my enemies. Obviously, because we had we had Sunita as one of the guest hosts this week. We've got this beautiful reimagining of, is it this The Last Supper? That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
Took me a second. Obviously, we have some awesome icons. Got Rocky, and also because Sunita made us realize that Rocky is now a Disney princess, since I didn't know that Disney owned the fucking rights, which sucks. Yeah, not too happy about that one. I just love this image. They've done a really good job of putting Luxon's face on it. Oh yeah. Oh, I should have added this into the TLDR. The bloody, I'm assuming you saw the 3D printed gun thing. Okay, yeah. Cool. I only just saw this right before we went. Yeah. Therapist, working David Seymour cake isn't real. He can't hurt you. That thing is so terrifying. I love it. Yes, obviously after our comments last week, we got a Kiaran McAnulty, which always appreciate your work, Saibo. We have a Where is Luxon? This does actually have Luxon in it. I found him.
Yeah.
So go check it out
on the Discord.
Yeah, it's on the Discord. And I made this one based off of someone mentioned they wanted to see this as a meme, so I did it. We've got the Coalition of Chaos as the Tin Man Scarecrow and the Cowardly Lion, and I put Peter Thiel as the wizard, and I put Brooke Van Belden just because honestly I thought it would look hilarious, and it did. And yeah, that's most of the memes.
Nice. There's an update with the Flotilla, the one that's carrying medical aid. In the last little while, they've spotted a ship. You can see the moment that they all start looking out the window. Oh, yep. Wait, there it is there. No? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all starting to figure it out. Okay, maybe if I oh yeah, you can see these guys looking out here as well. But yeah. They're all keeping an eye on what's going on out there. Having a look out, geese out the window. Figuring out what's going on. I can't actually see it in the other views. That or they're looking at the giant rain cloud that's coming at them. But it's not that. There you go. There's the ship that's hanging around them. And closer and closer. And then there's someone speaking. But I haven't had a look yet. Can you hear this?
Oh, no, I don't hear anything coming through. Have you muted the tab, maybe?
No. So, I'm not 100% sure why that's not coming through. There it is. There it is just in the background. And then the current live feed is nothing much happening just yet. So, yeah. Keeping an eye on things.
Yep, still developing.
Interesting stuff. Still developing stuff. Hope they make it.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah. Right. Did you have something that you'd like to show the people?
Yes. I mean, I do. However, I did see that someone put a comment about whether we were going to mention any of Twitter's post from tonight, which I thought we probably should do first. See that. Yeah, just because obviously my stuff can wait if we need to, or we can, expedite it. So I don't know. I don't think we don't have anything. We didn't have anything planned for tonight. And I watched Te Karere, but obviously Te Karere is completely in Māori, so it's not like we can really play the video clips on here. But I did go through and I have gathered thoughts, comments. So I was like lightly prepared for that. But obviously yesterday we saw that Toitū Te Tiriti was essentially going, hey, we're not affiliating with any political parties. And on top of that, you know, we also have issues with the leadership of Te Pāti Māori, which two separate things that have seemingly been very much kind of enmeshed into one, and I don't think that's exactly the right thing to do. But I'll share this latest post from Toitū Te Tiriti's page, and what am I doing? Add this one, and hopefully Ems will be there. But yeah, so for those who aren't aware, Toitū Te Tiriti have made a post recently saying, while Toitū Te Tiriti has roots connected to Te Pāti Māori, it quickly evolved, as it always intended, into an independent kaupapa led by a kāhui informed by the people to educate, advocate and uphold the vision of Te Tiriti o Waitangi. Toitū is maintaining independence from all political parties to ensure the kaupapa remains open to everyone, regardless of voting preference. This also ensures relationships are upheld across all parties committed to Te Tiriti-centred Aotearoa, allowing politicians to do the politicking, while Toitū continues its role in raising awareness, advocating and educating on the ground. This is not about cutting ties, but about ensuring mana motuhake and independence for the kaupapa. Commentary circulating in the media beyond this reflects individual views, not the collective position of Toitū Te Tiriti. Toitū Te Tiriti remains committed to allyship with all who uphold Te Tiriti. As we move toward the general election, we remain focused on the key mission, changing this anti-Tiriti government. Which I can't say I'm surprised they put this out today. Actually, funnily enough, when I was watching Te Karere, I definitely, a lot of these same thoughts or things that I was kind of like noting down myself, and that there definitely needs to be very much a clear understanding that to remove themselves with that affiliation, it has nothing to do with Te Pāti Māori being a bad party or anything like this. It is that the kaupapa is so much more important than that political affiliation, that it's not worth that political affiliation potentially isolating anyone from feeling like they're represented by that movement, or just for general people who kind of go, oh, I don't like TPM, and anyone that aligns with them I'm not going to like either. Same stupid rhetoric that also has kind of, we saw during the Tāmaki Makaurau by-election when Jack Tame was asking Peeni Hinare if like what he would say to people who feel like Labour shouldn't align with Te Pāti Māori and their radicalness or whatever the fuck. But yeah, I think it's definitely very, very, very important to acknowledge that I can see why people have unfortunately melded these two together and see them as kind of enmeshed issues when it's not the case. However, I do think that more importantly, I guess kind of for me, I was kind of noticing that no one's really talking about how impressive this is from Edu. Edu has gone out, and even though he has acknowledged himself that this is potentially, going to not be great for his own mother, like this is not something that he has gone into lightly at all, but he is putting, I guess, those potential negatives and going, look, I believe in this kaupapa, I believe in what I'm saying, and I believe that there is some issue in here. So I will both make sure and acknowledge to make sure that people do not get it twisted. We are not, one and the same. We are two different entities. However, it does seem that there is a bit of an issue within Te Pāti Māori, which we have all kind of been seeing some cracks, and I think I know I can admit myself that I was probably being quite generous in being like, oh no, this could just be like some little bumps that aren't too bad. But obviously with some of the information that's come out now from Eru and also Maria Mino not actually being consulted in her removal from Party Whip, which they obviously reported on earlier, it definitely seems like what Eru has said, especially on Te Karere, is more that he doesn't want to separate Woli from obviously the people inside TPM or anything like that, but that TPM does have things that it needs to be addressed, that like do need to be addressed, and that for him, kotahitanga doesn't mean just pretending everything's fine. It's about acknowledging like, hey, there actually are some kind of issues that need to kind of the introspection and the reflection and positionality. There's a lot of work that needs to be done around all of those things at the moment from within Te Pāti Māori. I think I saw it as him going, not as a, oh, we're breaking ties with you, but more of a, look, you can be better and I want you to be better so that we can all kind of just keep moving along and moving forward. Like, he also has a great point that Toitū Te Tiriti, they're the activists, the protesters, all of that. TPM, they're politicians, you know. Keeping that separate is also another really just healthy boundary, honestly, to, I guess, put in place. But I do think that, I hope that we'll see Te Pāti Māori kind of genuinely take this as an opportunity to listen to kind of, you know, I guess the issues that Eru and possibly other people have. I think it's kind of like, you know, parents, it's kind of like the thing of like when parents don't really want to listen to their kids, when their kids are being like, hey, I love you, but like the way you parented me in this way kind of fucked me up. And they can either react one of two ways. They can get really defensive and go, oh, well, it's not like this, blah, 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 blah. Or they can actually go and they can reflect and they can be like, look, yeah, you know what? That's really fair criticism. I might not have been handling the world very well at that point, and maybe my parenting in that time wasn't the greatest. This is kind of what I want to see going forward, because I don't have any reason not to believe, Edu, that there is problems and that there is some, you know, issues within there that might need to have a genuine conversation about. And I just hope to see that that's kind of addressed well, and that, like, I hope the media is also not going to push this narrative of separation or Toitū Te Tiriti versus TPM, because that's not what's needed right now. And while, yeah, it'd be great to have a united front, sometimes you have to be like, hey, this person that's supposed to be on my team, they're not necessarily doing everything they should. And I need to be able to say, hey, I love you, but this wasn't okay. And that's kind of how I see it, a lot of it, especially. Like, if you haven't, I highly recommend just going and watching the Te Karere interview with Scotty Morrison and Edu, because he's put himself, he's put out a lot of difficult but important conversation. And I don't think he should feel like that's necessarily a bad thing, because, like, Māori aren't a monolith, and I don't think we should also hold Māori on a pedestal either. Like, I think, so unfortunately some people will see this reflecting as Māori failure, when really it's just sometimes people just have hiccups, or, you know, I know he also echoed a similar sentiment that I've said on the show in the past of, like, it does unfortunately appear as if the trauma of being an Indigenous political party in a government that for nearly 200 years has essentially shat all upon your ancestors. it is a very difficult place to be in. And I agree with Edu. I do think that some of that pain and that mamae and that trauma has unfortunately made them not make necessarily the best decisions at certain points along the road. And I just hope that all of that can kind of get worked through and we do actually see, I guess, a reset and a change up from TPM, because we all need to get our shit sorted and all our ducks in a row, because next year we got a lot to fucking do.
Agreed. It's good to have this happen now and not closer to the election.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can sort that out. But yeah, that was kind of that. I mean, that's really the most I think we kind of need to put to that one, because I mean, there's still more to see, more to hear from. But
Yeah.
I just have to say I am really impressed that despite being in one of the most difficult positions that Edu himself is in, I'm just really proud to see him come and have a difficult conversation, even though he knows it'll impact people he loves the most in the world, potentially negatively. So good on him for standing by, what he believes in, and also not staying quiet if you think that there's an issue. Yeah. And I'm just gonna start setting something other timestamps up for the next one.
How much time do we have?
Oh yeah, we got 20 minutes, so I'll see if I can try pick out the more. This wasn't a huge thing. This is actually more to kind of goes a little bit into the conversation we were having earlier about how everything's paralleling. It's paralleling a little too hard. Because I know you're probably aware of the In Good Faith podcast with Philip DeFranco.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no. So that's a different one. That's a second podcast. He's got a comedy podcast now, but this is his second political podcast. So he's got the PDS, and In Good Faith is where he does his more kind of broad, funnily enough, more BHN style interviews. It's kind of hilarious watching Philip technically do a BHN, if I can say that. And so
we've become a
right. Exactly. And so I was obviously listening to the podcast, and I thought, okay, what he's saying right now, that almost sounds exactly like what I've heard Chloe say about New Zealand. And then he goes into another bit, and I go, Craig Rennie, is that you? Like, I swear to God, he almost exactly verbatim says something that Craig just said to us. I don't even know if it was this week or last week, because again, all the weeks are blurring into fucking one. But I will just share it, because there's 4 kind of spots that I picked. This timestamp is kind of talking about stock markets and basically wealth and how it's distributed. So I'll check this up here and then go from me wee little timestamp to about here, and then we'll just let him, although I will speed him up because Americans are real slow, honestly.
Hey,
they talk slow. I mean, Philip doesn't, but most of them do. All right.
A little bit more, but the stock market, again, is not a good indicator of our financial health. It's a great indicator of rich people's financial health. Because the top 1% in America controls half of the market cap of the entire S&P 500. Basically, they own half of the stock market, $25 trillion in equities. The top 19 households, 19 of them, control 2% of all US household wealth. In 1982, it was 0.1%.
And it made me think of the 311 families in New Zealand.
So massive explosion in the wealth of the very, very top. And you've got the bottom 50% of Americans who own 3% of the total household wealth. So essentially what is happening is it's this kind of terrible cocktail where not only is the economy actually not doing well when you look at the majority of Americans, we also think that we're doing well. We think because of all of this data that does not account for the massive inequality that is rising in America. We think things are going fine. And even our government thinks things are going fine. They look at the data and say, look, we're doing well. Stock market's at record highs. Everything's going great. Which of course means that we're not doing anything to solve the problem and to fix the fact that the entire consumer economy is being driven by people who make more than $250,000 a year. Not great, is what I would say.
Which is, we've literally heard Chloe talk about the 311 families owning more than, the 2 million New Zealanders. And then we can jump into, this next one, which I found interesting because it's very much going into that fiscal conservative kind of just drum that this government basically beats almost every day, I would argue. Let me just double check, make sure that's another one. 249. Yeah, that'll do.
And keep borrowing. And for me, when I think about the biggest threat to America on a sort of global systemic level, biggest threat and the worst thing that we've seen to the America's position as number one in the global order, it's the big beautiful bill, which was passed this year, which is going to, and remember, the Trump campaign, part of the message, part of the idea was fiscal conservatism. We're going to balance the budget. That is what he said. That is what Trump said in his address to Congress. We're going to balance the budget. And what happened?
Which our government loves to say, budget, got to get the budget back into balance.
All of Congress stands up and they start clapping. It was the loudest applause on the entire night. We're going to balance the budget. And I remember hearing that. I was like, this guy is, awful in a lot of ways, in my view. But, that is good. We should balance the budget. That's a good idea. Then the big beautiful bill comes out, which is going to add $4 trillion to our national debt. Our net interest, the amount that we pay just to service our debt right now, it's currently $900 billion per year. That's our second largest federal expenditure. We spend more on just servicing the debt than we do on national defense. With this bill...
Also, servicing the debt means like paying interest on your debt. So that's literally just to maintain. Although I will skip a little bit ahead because I think this one's probably the better one. Because this one takes a little bit longer. Where is it? Yeah, about here.
No, you can't spend billions of dollars.
Who have we heard say you can't spend billions of dollars? Give you a guess, it's Craig Greene.
Keep it. They buy stocks and they buy assets, and the assets grow and grow and grow in price, and then they just sit on it because that's all you can do. I mean, if you're Elon, you're worth $350 to $400 billion. He cannot spend that money. He cannot inject that money into the economy. That does not trickle down. Billions and billions of dollars in the hands of one person. There is one thing that you can do with that amount of money, and that is sit on it. And then give it to your children. That's all you can do with this money. So essentially what's happened is all of the money that we have decided to give to rich people because we said we're going to cut down on your taxes and we're going to make the environment extremely favorable to the very, very top 1%. We basically said to them, just enjoy the cash, and we're going to have it locked up there in your bank account at Goldman Sachs, or we're going to have it locked up in your,
which obviously Craig has talked a lot about how, these people that essentially set the stock market's like health are also the same people who are not injecting money into our economies. And things like the big beautiful bill obviously were added in just to make that become a lot worse. Though there was an interesting bit that I'm going to jump to, and it's only, it's not even 30 seconds long, but there was some really in a really interesting study that I had never heard about that he brings up near the end. So 45, 50. There we go. And this is just in terms of they're looking at basically money and happiness.
Does it statistically, and that is he's looked at the studies on happiness and how money affects your happiness. And it's true, money does mean happiness, but only up to a certain point. From the work that he's done, and I don't have the exact figures in front of me, but I believe from the data he has looked at, the number at which you kind of max out is around $10 million. At that point, you're not getting any happier based on the studies.
I think the happiness...
And like, I double checked, looked into it. Yep. I also found that there was actually a following study that was done that actually found that correlation between happiness and income is a lot higher when income inequality is much higher. So essentially, the bigger wealth gap you have, the more like happiness that kind of will amp up to, because originally some of the first studies said it capped out at like $75,000, which obviously wasn't true. And they've done a number of studies that have actually used the original study he's referencing, as well as I think they had something crazy like 13,000 samples in their studies. So yeah, this part here is showing that they literally can tell you where the number stops. 10 million. So when people go, oh, well, how do we know what mega wealthy or what wealth we should be taxing above certain aspects? And there it is. It's $10 million. Also, Scarge, I do see you. If you didn't hear us earlier, we're on the same path as America. So sometimes we have to look at what they're up to so we can figure out what not to do. Yeah, you're being annoying. But yeah. I mean, I do actually highly recommend everyone actually go watch this episode of In Good Faith with Philip Franco. They're talking all about stagflation, which is probably pretty obvious. It's talking about the height of inflation as well as the stagnancy that we're seeing in terms of, wages not going up and all of those types of things. And then the essentially shit show that it kind of creates. And definitely, again, just too many parallels to stuff that we've heard from Craig, Chloe. Like, there's also the aspect of hypocrisy where we keep being told by governments that are fiscally conservative that they'll spend wisely, yet we're all seeing we might not be retiring till we're 72 because they don't want to fucking tax wealth. So... yeah, that was my little side tangent.
That's really interesting that you brought that up, because one of the things I did want to talk about today, which I won't go into really massive detail because you can probably do yourself, but I just want to point out a number that might shock you when we're talking about wealth inequality. Perfect. So the Stats NZ net worth stats came out. And it's kind of scary. So it's exactly what you would expect. People, so if you're in the upper 50th percentile, the person you have to be with an asset, you have to have a net wealth of about 500,000. That puts you into the very bottom of the 50%. And I think if you want to be in the 1%, it's about 8 million for the household and up. So if you're at the 1%, the bottom is 8, and then from there it skyrockets. Like the difference between the 5, 10, and 1% is actually not a huge amount, but the 1% top is like well above. Anyway, very interesting stuff. It's what you'd expect basically. When they look at it per ethnicity, it's really scary. Okay, so obviously, we all know this stuff. So individual net worth increased with age, obviously. Those aged 15 to 24 had the lowest median. Median being, take all the numbers and you find one that's directly in the middle. Point to that, it's 4,000. People aged 75 and over had the highest median at 590,000. Net wealth, if I'm not mistaken, also is all of your assets combined, so that's stocks, your house, whatever, minus how much debt you're in. So, it could be a lot of things. So after standardizing for the different age profiles, Europeans had the highest median individual net worth at 222,000, up 44% from the year in 2021. Do you know what the it is for Māori?
It's not going to be that big. I hope it doesn't go backwards. That's what I'm scared of, though. Please don't be negative.
So 222,000, up 44% from the year to 2021. I believe this is the June 2024.
Yeah. So
brace
then that's
yourselves.
the year.
Māori had a median net worth of 52,000, which was no statistically significant change from 2023. And Pacific people had a median net worth of $26,000. Top 1% now hold 14.1%, which was slightly down on previous years. Ooh. Top 10 and 5% also hold slightly less of the wealth overall, but the top 50% is relatively constant.
Damn.
That is a
What happened to this Māori privilege? I don't see Māori privilege in this. That's like what? Literally a quarter? No, well, way less than a quarter of the European stat. And I didn't even come here to do math. Fuck.
No significant change and 44% up.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's fucked. No surprises that happened under this government.
This is less than some people's KiwiSaver. Like,
oh yeah,
like
my KiwiSaver is not
our
that
generation. High. Yeah, like our generation, working 10 years kind of KiwiSavers, just your average before you bought a home type KiwiSaver. That's abysmal.
To be fair, 26,000 is not as far away from what I actually get in a whole year. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't read this particular article because one of the things that really pissed me off in this, Westpac senior economist Satish Ranchard said that was an interesting development for the economy because the 50% was relatively constant. He said the lower net worth quintiles were where increases were typically slower. What do you think? But his reasoning is, I would suggest, this is probably based on all the things that I understand, it's probably slower because they haven't got money to build upon. Like, it's hard to build on top of a tiny amount. The top quintile, really fucking easy to make money off $1 million. Like, that shit just grows beyond. But his reasoning was, those will often be the people who are earlier in their working careers as well, and they shouldn't have had they wouldn't have had the chance at this stage to have built up wealth level. True, but also not the only factor. Yeah. So, just if you take away anything today, I just want you to remember those two numbers.
Well, especially if you hear someone talking about fucking marry elites or whatever the fuck bullshit they like to go on about. Like, that's a really depressing fucking number, I'm not gonna lie.
I literally floored when I saw that. That's really sad.
Yep, but no, let's listen to this government talk about how we're the divisive ones for pointing shit like this out. Yeah, because that's really the problem. Like, yeah, it's frustrating when you've got all the data and evidence to show why you're annoyed, and yet you still get gaslit.
Hmm.
Although I do feel like this would be a really good time to quickly show something that could make people feel positive. So I wasn't sure if we'd get time for this one, but since it seems we do, I will play this video and then we can kind of have a quick look at what the kids are up to. Because
what are the kids up to other than overthrowing their oppressive
well,
governments?
see, these kids aren't gonna overthrow the government yet. They're trying to find a different way. So let's let them tell us.
Do you ever feel like your voice is being ignored by our government?
In Finland and Denmark, petitions that receive 50,000 signatures have to be debated by their governments.
But here, in Aotearoa, New Zealand, Parliament has no obligation to respond, no matter how many signatures they get.
And we think that needs to change. That's why we're calling for a citizens' initiative in New Zealand.
This is to stop our government's habit of ignoring petitions with hundreds of thousands of signatures.
So real people can drive real change.
And so issues that we as a society have deemed important must be heard.
Join our fight for a citizens' initiative.
Which, I mean, terrible audio for the video, but awesome kaupapa.
They're kids, leave them alone.
Right? No, I also love the fact that it's just very much appealing to the audience, their audience. And then, so yeah, they've got a change.org petition. And here they obviously point out how, we used to be leaders in democracy. In 1893, there was a petition, 32,000 signatures stitched together on one long scroll that made us the first country in the world to give women the right to vote. Petitions used to change history. They were in our national DNA. They obviously point to the fact that Denmark and Finland have something where if 50,000 citizens sign a petition within 6 months, Parliament must debate it. So obviously this is getting ahead of all those people be like, oh, they just want to be able to have debates on every little bloody thing these days. No, this is about when there's great kaupapa. Sometimes we should be allowed to tell you guys to fucking deal with it. And yeah, I just think this is a really awesome little campaign being run by youth, because Gen Z are clearly with it. They know what's up. And I mean, I think it's been said on the show before, students are usually the ones that are on the right side of history. And the students are currently saying, free Palestine, let us have our fucking voices heard, and let us vote at the age of 16. So maybe we should start doing that. So yeah, just wanted to let you guys know that this is what they're currently up to, since, well, they can see no one else is going to do it for them. So they're doing it themselves. And you love to see it. There's also one last little positive news for us gamers. A Florida woman wins Mortal Kombat tournament playing with newborn baby in arms. Good. This baby is 5 days old, and she is oh wait, where'd it go? There we go.
Yep. You go.
Yep. So this is the mum, and this is her 5-year-old baby, and she won her local Mortal Kombat tournament. It's nothing like crazy big tournament, but I just love to see that. Just seeing her absolutely fucking own it. It's great. Nothing big, just fun. And then since I can see the time, we'll go straight into our memes. So we got bonus memes. We got mood swings, which feels like that. Shenanigans, no thank you. I only do they-nanigans. When dad organized a K-pop party but doesn't know which Korea. This one's one of my favorites. It's great. Ah, yes, the guide to beards. Since there was a lot of beard chat, I believe, when... Oh, I can't remember which guest it was. Someone with a beard. Paul, that's the one. Every bathroom is gender neutral if you're there to do coke. Which is just made me think of when I was... as we were leaving the BHN meetup, I went to the bathroom at the bars, and I was in the bathroom, and then I just hear these girls walk in and go, "Oh, are you using it to pee or to use drugs?" And I was like, "Okay, that's actually a thing people ask each other now." Didn't know. Also, I don't know if you know, but axolotls will snack on their siblings' limbs when food is scarce. If only we could do that with human children. No, I'm kidding. Let's not eat human children. And also, this is a BHNer who's added on a beautiful little addition to their demio. They're demiosexual. And then, to end on some millennial nostalgia, our pockets were heavy, but our souls were free. So heavy, though.
No. Well, I've had fun just catching up on the old on the chat. I think we've got a few crunchies tonight, which is great for Friday.
Yes.
Thanks for viewing. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing and sticking around.
Appreciate the interactions.
We love our crunchies. Thank you for all of the people in chat for keeping us up till 5:11 at night. Making the show amazing, as always.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Also, just Drag Fest is happening in Palmy as we speak. So,
Ooh, exciting.
yeah. Get your drag on.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Well, I think that is, I think it's us for tonight. And,
Yeah?
yeah.
No, I'm just being nosy at the chat. You made me want to go have a look. I'm like, what's going on? I don't know. I'm just gonna go hang out with these guys.
You know, just things. Nothing crazy. No. Everyone's behaving.
They better.
Everyone's real cool. Real fucking cool. There we go.
Also, this would be cool.
Why can't I hear it?
Help us settle the debate, whether it be thoughtful or funny, even if we're all creatures of hate. It's a fine line that we're walking together. For better, push aside the temptation to berate. Let's take a note of the corners we stand in. As many points as the hairs on my chinny chin chin. When the news that we're watching is hairy, knowing all the things that we need to be wary of. Like the rich have the hand out for rewards, while the many have to work out what they can afford. And the rest of us ain't paying attention, or maybe have questions we're too worried to mention. Other media is still dwelling on trivial facts, vetting peas from the rice and the mice from the rats, and picking and choosing a warpath to run, linking ourselves with the hill to die on. It's gotta come down to a welcoming vibe, with an A and a self and a higher in mind. All have a lean either this way or that, and will be analyzed by butchery and pat. With the evil in the world trying to mess with your head, and you're sitting on the couch, you're thinking chivalry's dead. Each night, 2 nights, they're gonna sing you to bed. It's Big Hairy News.
Thanks everybody for joining us on this wonderful Friday evening. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope you'll join us next Friday at 9 p.m. for more Bright Hairy News. Or come see Chewie on Monday at 9 p.m. back on the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything to say before we go, Magenta?
Yes, if you haven't got your votes in for your local voting, go do it. And if you haven't annoyed everyone you know who's going to forget, go pick theirs up. I don't care what you do. Just make sure they fucking vote. Oh, and also keep cool till after school, and we love you and all that stuff too.
All right, we'll catch you guys next Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.